he would not retaliate. He would retain his smile, and he would say something back that was positive in nature, that could be uplifting. Hello, my dear friends. It's a great privilege, week after week, to bring something that I hope will be encouraging to you and to others to whom you share this video blog. These are brief messages of encouragement, brief messages dealing with issues that everyone can relate to, because they pertain to our life in the world and the unlimited resources that are made available to us, so that we may take the right steps and reach the proposed destination. What came to my mind recently after reading that story on more than one occasion relates to a city bus driver in a large American city. I don't know exactly which. As you well can imagine, it can be a very monotonous experience, going the same route back and forth for quite some time while it lasts. And yet, many times that is made even worse by the manner in which many of the passengers would be dealing with and treating the driver, to whom they have to give their token or to pay their fare. Early in the morning, when some have not yet had their coffee, and others perpetually are always complaining. And that got to the nerves of a certain bus driver of our story today. And for a while he allowed irritations to overwhelm him. He thought of the possibility of acting in kind with those that were being so discourteous to him so early in the morning, instead of recognizing the services that he was rendering unto them. But thank God, he decided not to retaliate, not to act in kind, instead to do the very opposite. So while a grumbling passenger would enter the bus and say something uncomplimentary, or perhaps respond uncourteously to any positive comment that he might say, he would not retaliate. He would retain his smile, and he would say something back that was positive in nature, that could be uplifting to that passenger. And it worked, as it was to be expected, because many of the passengers recognized their attitude towards him, and in spite of that, how he responded so positively to them. And I think it is always what God desires for us to do. Not to retaliate, not to respond in the same negative manner, but to do the very opposite. To give a word of cheer, to maintain a joyous disposition towards those, even those that were inflicting some harm on that driver without him deserving that kind of attitude. The most interesting thing is that I read that years later, some of those customers, seeing him perhaps in a different context, called to his attention his positive attitude and how their own lives had been so transformed by him being who he was and responding totally differently than the grumbling nature of their complaints and of their negative attitude. So let us attempt more and more, regardless of whatever indignity is hurled at us from others, let us treat them with respect. You might say, well, they don't deserve any respect from me. But the question is not that they deserve or do not deserve. The question is who you are and how you act in such circumstances. There's a Bible verse that says, "Mine is the vengeance, saith the Lord. I will repay." In other words, do not respond to these people with the same token that has been thrown at you, but act positively, even towards those that would harm you and that would be unkind to you through their lips and through their negative attitudes. And I think that those of us who desire to build a better world under the directives of Almighty God should act in this fashion, and we can see the difference. Whether or not someone later may bring this to our attention as to the positive effect that it had in their own lives. So this is my challenge, always to me, but also to you, dear viewers. Let us act positively, thinking of others first, and then of our personal discomfort. Bye-bye.